Okay, so one thing I forgot to mention in my videos about why I prefer to use the setup machine over advanced skeleton is because um, one of the key things that I like in this package, the setup machine, is that it allows you to animate the IK of the arms in different spacings, uh, different. I guess they're called spaces, world like uh, environment spaces. So what that means is basically like, okay, so you see how how the arms in this case, the arms are falling. Actually, what the heck? There's no IK turned on. Shit, because I turned it all off. Okay, so this is falling. Where would? Okay, so now now you see in this scenario how the arms, they have IK turned on, by the way. So now there's a couple of different ways in which you can animate IK. You can animate the arm IK in such a way that the arms will follow the 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 hip bones whenever you move them. And there's another way where you can change the space. Say it's under here. So there's three different spaces. There's called world space. Basically, world space will actually uh, allow you to animate the arms independent of the hips. So as you move the hips around, the arms are the IK of the arms. They're stuck, or they're basically, yeah, they're basically stuck in world space. So you basically have to animate the arms like separately. Um, so I mean, some animators prefer this method, but I actually hate this method. I dread this method. But so the reason that I like to use the setup machine is it allows you to easily toggle between these three spaces. There's also another space called shoulder space. Oh, sorry, upper body space. So now upper body space is actually, yeah, it's actually similar to shoulder space. What's the difference? Okay, so shoulder space is when it does this. Now I know I remember there was a difference between upper body space and shoulder space. Let me try shoulder space one more time. I'm sorry, this is shoulder space. Shoulder space is where the arms will follow wherever the shoulders are. But now, what's upper body space? Yeah, okay, okay. Yes, right. So when you set it to upper body space, now the arms will follow the hips, but when you rotate the spine, the arms they don't follow the spine. They're just basically following the hips, right? Right. So that's the difference between those three spaces. Now, the reason I mention this is because I actually like to animate in this space, shoulder space. So basically, I like to animate it such that when the character moves like your hips and you move your bones, your spines, the arms will follow like that. So it's just, I guess it's just different styles in which some animators prefer to move, but I prefer this way much better. And so one of the key things to note is when you're working with mocap data, you need to decide on which space you're gonna be using before you bake the mocap to this rig. Because if you set this to like whatever space it is right now, so if it's set to shoulder space, so let's go ahead and try this. Okay, so it's set to shoulder space right now, so it's following the shoulders. Um, and now let's go ahead and import an animation. Sorry, import. Okay, let's try this prone. Actually, that one's too wild. I don't need to go that crazy. Um, stand deploy. Okay, all right. So, okay, first we need to create constraint. So before you actually create and constrain the mocap skeleton, you need to decide whether or not you want to be animating in shoulder space, world space, or upper body space. Because as you're gonna see here, once you bake this guy, once you start baking this shit, let me just make sure that the definitions are set up. Gotta rename this. Crazy shit. Okay, and then -1, set a T-pose. T-pose. Okay, so sometimes, oh shit, because I renamed it. I gotta delete that again, and then import and T-post. Hmm? Oh, okay. Yeah, sometimes my shortcut doesn't, like this button doesn't work, so I have to manually go into Atom and then import the animation. That's basically what this button is doing. It's basically just running the script here, but for some reason, you need to sometimes need to do it manually that way. All right, there, so it's in Depose. Now I need to rename this thing, and then on character 2, load the definition for the 3D Studios Max. Okay, great. Okay, now let's go ahead and target this animation to our rig, like that. Boom. Okay, so now he's animating, right? And now we want to bake it. Transfer. Sorry, not bake it. We're actually just transferring the mocap data to uh, the controllers, like the IK controllers and the FK controllers. So once that's done, we can go ahead and delete this. Okay, now we've got the controllers all baked. So now the thing to note is you cannot change the space setting here because it's just gonna get all fucked up. Like watch what happens. Okay, so now watch. So this animation looks good, right, in this shoulder space. But as soon as you, well, for one thing, it's keyed, right? So it's like obviously, like you're gonna have to remove the key. But let's break this connection. So then, change the spacing to world space. Now the animation's all fucked up because it it baked it according to the coordinates of the shoulder space. So it only looks good in shoulder space. Right? So, see what I mean? So the animation will look radically different if you change the spacing after you bake the animations. Sorry, after you transfer over the mocap data. So like, so this one's probably gonna look even worse. See, like, look at that. So this is what it looks like in worlds if you changed it to world space after you targeted, after you baked the transferred over the mocap data. So basically, the rule of thumb is before you transfer over your mocap data to your rig, make sure you decide on which space you want to be using. So for me, I'm always in shoulder space anyway, so it doesn't matter. I'm never going to touch this thing. But I know some animators prefer different spaces depending on the animation. Like if this animation was like of him uh, climbing a ladder, you may want to change the space to world space because you want his hands to be stuck to the ladder a bit better. But like for example, if this was an animation of him doing a somersault, it's actually I find it much easier to have it in shoulder space. But you just need to make sure that you decide before you actually transfer over the mocap data, because once you transfer over the mocap data, it creates all these keys, and it's not going to be easy for you to change the space after the fact. So, yeah, good luck with that.